Hi, my name is Richard Fluke, and I want to tell you a story. And if you're a parent, a mum or a dad, obviously, or a grandparent, then I think this is going to be really relevant for you. The story starts back in early 2007, 2008. And I came over to Canada because I wanted to give our unborn son the best possible chance of growing to be a fantastic little boy and giving him an amazing start in life. And I think we made the right decision. It's been a fantastic place, except for one thing. And this one thing, I think, will plague all of us and is plaguing all of us throughout the whole of the world. And what is it? It's genetically modified foods. Now, about 3 years ago, I was having trouble with my belly, with my guts, and I'm involved in energetic medicine or energetic healing. I was involved with metamedicine, and now I have my own thing called advanced cooling energetics. And basically what I found was my belly was always swelling up and I was getting problems, and I changed my diet. I got rid of dairy, got rid of any wheat, but still I was having these problems. I aggressively changed what I was doing, still having these problems. And then one of my students turned around to me and said, "Hey, what about genetically modified foods?" And I said, "Well, you don't have them here, do you?" Being from Europe, we haven't had genetically modified foods in our diet, well, since it's never been there. And they said, "Oh no, genetically modified foods are absolutely everywhere." And I said, "What?" And I started to research into this, and I started looking at labels, and there was no marking on the labels. It didn't say, "Hey, this is made with genetically modified foods." And the more and more I researched, the more and more I found that there was genetically modified foods in practically everything, even what we had fed my son when my wife stopped breastfeeding. There was soya, genetically modified soya. You know what? I would never, ever have given him that. And it just went on. I started to research more and more and more. We went through the cupboards and we found soya lectin and all sorts of things, and anything basically that was processed had genetically modified foods in it. Canola oil, so that cut out all your mayonnaise. Also, anything else that had soya bean in it, anything else that had sugar beet in it, all genetically modified. And then I started to research even more, and I found out our chickens, our pigs, our cattle, our milk, our dairy, it all being fed with genetically modified food. And you know what? I got really angry, not because just of myself, because I was having this gut problem, but because I was giving this stuff knowingly to my son. Now, if any of you have children, you realize they're the most precious things, the most precious people you could ever have. And you might say, "Well, so what, Richard? Isn't it okay? You know, the FDA says it's absolutely fine. In Canada here, it says there's no problem. In fact, Canada produces practically, well, so much genetically modified food. It is unbelievable, the amount that is produced. And it's been around since 1996. Well, you might say, "Well, it's all okay, isn't it?" Well, when you do the research, what you find is time and time and time again that this stuff has never ever been tested on human beings. Never. Period. And also, it's disastrous for us. It causes cancers, diabetes, chronic fatigue syndromes, and numerous wealth of other diseases. And you don't believe me? Then just look at the state of North Americans' health over the last 20 years practically. I think it's about 18 years. Since 1996, this has been at a very high level in all the processed foods throughout the whole of North America. So that's America and also Canada. And it hasn't been in Europe yet, except just wait. If you are a European, it's coming your way. It already is in your meat, your poultry. It's in your dairy products, because America is feeding Europe with corn, with soya, And also now alfalfa. It's all coming over in droves. Cottonseed is being shipped over there to feed the animals. You know what? And they don't even have to label that the cattle and all the livestock is being fed with genetically modified food, which obviously has been going on over here. Look at the state of the health of the people in North America. You just have to walk around. I've been doing this a lot. Just walk around and look at how obese people are over here. They're getting fatter and fatter by the day. It's not their fault. It's not because they have a different diet. It's because they're fed with CRAP, which is basically genetically modified foods. Why is it so bad for you? It's because your body cannot digest this stuff. What is it? It's basically where you take a normal food, alter it slightly with something that is completely different. So, for example, corn. You take corn and you take a fungus out of the ground which has got nothing to do with this corn and modify the corn in such a way that it completely and utterly is totally and utterly changed to repel any bug, particularly the corn boring bug. And if it does that, the corn borer cannot eat the corn. However, nature is absolutely amazing because the corn borers have actually altered themselves so they can eat these corns. So they keep genetically modifying it even further and further and further and further. And by the way, the people that own this is one big, large company, and its name is Monsanto. And there are other, what they call biotech companies, which are chemical companies that have turned into farming companies. Do you really want chemical companies owning your food? Well, you don't have a choice because they now own 73% of all the seed production in the world. Monsanto alone owns 60% and most of the organic seeds as well. And do they care? Absolutely not. They couldn't give a damn about you. What they give a damn about is how much money they make. And they are so wealthy that they have bought every single politician in America. You can't go to your politician and say, oh, this is not very good stuff and could we stop having it? You can't. They bought them all. It's happening in Europe as well, because Europe, I think it was in 2012, 2013, basically bought the British government and said, oh no, we can now have genetically modified feed fed to our chicken, fed to our cattle, and you don't even know that it has been because it will not say it's labelled in Europe. 30%, probably even more now, of all the corn that is grown in Spain is genetically modified. The French will not allow it. Here's another thing. The Russians have banned, completely and utterly banned, period, all genetically modified food, saying we have enough resources and enough money and enough ways of being able to feed our whole population with organic food. This is the only way that you can save your children. You know what? Your children in North America, and it will be happening in Europe soon, are not going to outlive you as a parent. It's going to be the first generation that will never outlive their parents. If you care for your kids, and I do, I care for my son, I want him to survive, outlive me. We buy organic food because it's the only way we can guarantee that this shit is not in our food supply. Please, stop eating this stuff. You can only find out about it on the internet. Research it. There'll be plenty of links after this video. Just research it. Do what's right for you. Do what's right for your family. Do not eat this stuff. Boycott anything produced by the Grocery Manufacturers Association and anything that's got genetically modified foods in it and anything that's been sprayed with glyphosate. The only way you can do that is to eat organic. And I'm sorry, that's going to cost you more money, but let me tell you, you eat organic, you'll lose the weight. You'll lose that extra water in your body. You'll lose the fat. You'll eat less because inside organic food is way, way more energy. You'll eat half. It will cost you more at the start, and then suddenly the amount of food that you're eating will reduce and you'll feel better. I hope I've got this message across to you. And that's really all I got to say. Thanks a lot.